What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out a very cool mountain bike. What we have here today it's called the Crazybird Jumper, and I have to say this bike looks super cool. So first of all we have 26-inch wheels with 4-inch wide tires, so this is basically a mountain bike with fat tires, let's call it. We have a front suspension, we have a 750 watt motor located in the rear wheel, and we also have hydraulic disc brakes. So a lot of boxes that this bike checks right from the beginning. With that being said, let's start by doing a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you the box the bike comes in and what you have to do to get this ready and on the road. Alright, so as you'd expect, the bike comes in a fairly big box. The box is also pretty heavy, so you probably need two people to move that box around. The bike itself is not light. I mean, it doesn't look light just by looking at it. So you're looking at about 36 kilos. Definitely not the heaviest e-bike out there, but not the lightest either. For installation, this is fairly straightforward. You basically have to put the handlebar together and the front wheel and that lighten, of course, the pedals. But overall, it is a very quick installation, so you should be ready and on the road in about 30 minutes. Taking a quick look at the bike, well, the bike looks very cool. I probably can go as far as saying that this is one of the coolest looking bikes that I got to try up until now. Wherever you take this bike, people just stop and look at you because the bike does look a bit different than most other bikes out there. I absolutely love this thick frame that we have here, and the battery pack is actually located in the frame here. Now, this may not be the largest battery pack out there, but it can keep the bike going for between 80 to 100 kilometers depending how you are riding it. Now, if you're just using the throttle, so of course we have a throttle here, and if you don't want to pedal, you can just use the throttle here. You're probably going to see about 45 to 50 kilometers. So it really depends on the terrain, the weather, how heavy you are, on the range that you're going to get. But if you're riding in assistance level 1, just to give you an example, you can probably get closer to that 100 kilometers. Now, out of the box, the bike is also limited to 25 kilometers an hour, but you can easily unlock it and it can go way faster than that. So you can buy this bike in a couple of versions. You can either get the version that has a 250 watt motor or the 750 watt motor. This is the version of the 750 watt motor, and I actually don't recommend getting the version that has a 250 watt motor because it's just not enough power. With this motor, the 750 watt motor that we have here, the bike has plenty of power in pretty much any situation. You can go on a straight line, you can go up hills, and you don't really have to put any effort into pedaling. And next I'm going to show you a quick recording just so you can see how the bike does whenever you're going up hills. Alright, so we have a quick hill climbing test to the Crazybird Jumper. I'm not sure if you can tell how steep this hill is, but it is fairly steep and it actually gets a bit steeper. So we are in assistance level 5, and in the second gear I'm going to start by accelerating with the throttle, and then I'll start pedaling so I can help the bike. But we do have plenty of power, so it's not going to be hard going up a hill like this one. Let me reposition the camera so you can see the hill a bit better. So it's definitely steep, but we do have plenty of power. So if you have a lot of hills wherever you're riding, this bike can definitely do it without any problems whatsoever. The bike is also equipped with a 7-gear Shimano shifter. So realistically, if you don't want to use the motor and the battery pack of the bike, you can actually ride the bike as a regular bike. Of course, since the bike is a bit heavier, it's not going to be as easy to pedal, but yes, you can definitely use the bike just by pedaling normal. Now, since we have all that power from that 750 watt motor, you definitely need some good brakes. So the bike is also equipped with hydraulic disc brakes. These are 180 millimeter disc brakes, and they do work really well. So from the top speed that I've seen on this bike, which was about 30 kilometers an hour, you stop without any problems. And I'm also happy to say that the brakes don't actually make any noise, so no squeaking, no vibrations or anything like that. So really good stopping power as well. As you've already noticed by now, the bike is also equipped with the front suspension. Now, this doesn't have that much travel, about 1.5 to 2 inches of travel, so definitely nothing crazy. So the bike will do okay if you go over uneven terrain, if you jump a couple of curves or stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily take this bike off-roading, like real off-roading, because I don't believe that this suspension is actually designed for some crazy off-roading. Now, when you have the massive fat tires with that front suspension and the seat that's fairly comfortable, maybe not the most comfortable seat that I've tried, but the ride is also quite comfortable. So riding for about an hour or so, it's not uncomfortable at all. I also love the fact that the handlebar is a bit higher than most of these mountain bike kind of bikes that I've tried in the past. So it is a bit higher than normal, and that makes the riding position a bit more straight, let's call it. So a comfortable ride overall when you take into consideration those massive tires and of course the front suspension. The handlebar here is nice and wide. The grips here don't seem to move at all. We have the brake levers here. These seem to be made out of plastic. I would have loved to see these being made out of metal. We have all our buttons on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side we have the throttle here. Now you can install this throttle because the throttle actually comes in the box, but if you don't install the throttle, you can just leave the regular handlebar here grip that comes installed out of the box. So this is optional, and it comes in the box in case you want to install it. In the center of the handlebar here we have our screen. Now I believe that the screen that came installed on this bike is a bit on the defective side, because one side of it is brighter than the other side, and I actually had another bike that had an identical screen. So I think there is a problem with my screen on this particular bike. However, the screen is decent enough for an e-bike, well, mostly if it would have been working properly. So it shows the speed, it shows the assistance level, your odometer, and how much battery you have. And of course, I forgot to mention that on the front here, we also have a light. Nothing that special about this light. We've seen this light installed on many other e-bikes in the past. So at night it's bright enough, but during the day you may not be able to see it in all situations. And unfortunately there is no rear light installed. So I guess you're gonna have to install your own rear light. Alright, so let me quickly show you how it is to ride the Crazybird Jumper. So the power button on this one is actually at the bottom here. You can't exactly see it. You hold this press for about 3 seconds or so, and then the bike comes on. We have the big plus and the big minus here, so we're gonna go in assistance level 3 for this test. And you can start moving in a couple of ways. So first of all, you can accelerate to the throttle. So we have the throttle right here, kind of like a motorcycle. Or the bike is equipped with a speed sensor. So as soon as you start pedaling, the bike will start assisting you. So first we're gonna accelerate to the throttle just so you can see how that works. So if you don't want to pedal at all, this is one way of going. I'm gonna stop and I'll start pedaling so I can show you how the speed sensor works. So it takes a couple of pedals and then the bike will start assisting you. So that easy. We are gonna do a brake test right after this bend here. So from about 22 kilometers an hour, we'll do a brake test. Somewhere around here maybe. So pretty good brakes, and I'm happy that they don't actually make noise. We'll do another one again from about 25 kilometers an hour. So if you want, you can definitely lock that rear wheel. And I guess we're gonna turn somewhere around here. My favorite thing to do is to accelerate to the throttle when it's a bit more difficult to pedal, and then you pedal, so it makes the transition more seamless, let's say. So that easy riding this bike. It is fairly comfortable. It is also very quiet. The motor doesn't seem to make any noise. The brakes don't seem to make any noise. No vibrations anywhere. So I do like the fact that the bike is pretty quiet. And we do have a steep hill up here. So I'm just gonna go this way. But as you see for yourself, it is fairly easy going up hills like this because we do have plenty of power from that rear motor. The hill is quite steep. I'm not sure if you can see that well on the camera, but definitely quite steep. So to quickly conclude this video, the Crazybird Jumper is a very good looking bike. I absolutely love the look of this bike. So if you're looking for a mountain bike type of bike that has fat tires, this is definitely a nice one to get. We have plenty of power from that rear motor. The rear motor also doesn't really make that much noise whenever is working. We have great brakes on it. we have a front suspension. It would have been nice to see a rear suspension as well, but again, the price would have been higher. So for the price, I do feel that it offers a lot of value, and the bike looks really, really cool, and it is fairly comfortable. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.